How's everybody doing? All right. I want to thank Zach and everybody, Amitai and everybody who invited me to be here. Shalom.
Shalom, Janine.
Kol beseder?
Yeah.
Okay.
After I broke my tongue, now it's okay.
Okay, so my inclination, those of you who have seen me speak before, is to jump right into the politics, right? It's a big moment right now when Netanyahu is trying to form this new coalition. In fact, I think today was the day he was supposed to form it. He got a 10-day extension because, among other things, they need to pass a law that will allow convicted criminals to be ministers in the government.
Yeah.
Nachon?
Yeah, and just because of this, I had to cut my visit
Yes,
in New York
because
and
of
go
that,
back
we had
to
to
Israel.
flip the whole thing, and he's got to go. So we'll get to that in a minute. But I want to pick up on the main theme of the conference about what was said just a little while ago. How do we bring us all together? Secular, religious, J Street Jews, APAC Jews, Haredim, Kulam. And I want to ask you, Matan, to start. You've been here a few days now, and I want to get your sense of the diaspora Jewry, and what you've learned. You mentioned to me in the green room that you've learned some things about the differences between the diaspora Jewry and the way that Israeli Jews see it all.
Yes, I'm still hesitating if it's smart to say this, but...
Well, let's try.
No, okay, so I will tell you a little story because yesterday night I couldn't fall asleep. And maybe it's because of the jet lag. And to my wife I said that because she's not sleeping near me, I am a politician, I have to lie from time to time. And but the main cause was that I thought about things that I heard in the days I have been here. And thank you, Zach, that he let me meet very powerful people and that told me a lot of things that make me think about the gap between how you see things here in the United States and how we see them in Israel. And I'm talking about people that a Jewish identity is very important for them. But the gap is very wide, and I couldn't get sleep, so I write it on, and with your permission, I will read some of the sentences. So what I did, I write the sentences that I heard, and I know that we in Israel think totally different.
Yeah.
So I write a few sentences how we in Israel see these issues. And
Go ahead.
no, but I saw that the gap is so big. So
No, it's big, but let's we don't have a lot of time. We have a lot to do. We got to talk about.
I try to avoid wearing the glasses, but no problem.
No, I have mine. I have my glasses.
So,
You're going to do the diaspora Jewry first?
yeah,
Okay.
diaspora jury.
Yeah, you had that list.
Yes, number one, it's numbers, okay? They are speaking a lot about expanding the tent. This is the first.
Expanding the tent.
Expanding
you
the
heard
tent,
here.
okay. Second, two, the joining of more people to Judaism is an opportunity. They see joining of people as an opportunity. Is there a greater tikkun olam of this than this? They
Preparing the world. We
they
know
see as joining people to Judaism, it's a part of tikkun olam, okay? Four, a proposal, also a sentence I heard, a proposal for Jewish identity that does not include an equal approach to LGBT people as a Jewish principle is irrelevant. Five, Silicon Valley as an environment is an environment of initiative, innovation, maybe even revolutions. This is how everything is treated, also for Judaism. And the last one, we are looking to create meaningful content to Judaism. Okay, so now I want to say a few sentences about how I believe that most of Israelis, the ordinary Israelis in the street, sees these matters. So first of all, maybe it will shock you, but most Israelis did not meet a Reform Jew until a very advanced age. I am embarrassed to say that the first Reform Jew I met was in the age of 46. I'm 50. Until age of 46, I never met a Reformed
Okay,
Jew.
what, to be clear though, sorry to interrupt, you mean like an American Reformed Jew?
No,
Like an
no.
Because in Israel, you
Never.
have people who would maybe not call themselves Reformed, but who are not Haredi Orthodox, right? And them lo chiloni. They're not secular. There's something else there, right?
Okay, הנה.
Okay.
Listen to the next
Namshich.
one. Okay.
Okay.
Israel is a very Orthodox country. The synagogue that the secular does not go to is Orthodox. Okay? Next one. Expanding the tent is not a goal for us. The ultimate goal is to stay one people, that all Jews can marry each other. And in matter of this, expanding the tent and joining people to Judaism in non-Orthodox way makes it difficult to achieve this goal so we can be married one each other. Okay?
I want to come back to this when you finish your list.
Okay.
Allah.
7. An equal approach to the LGBT community cannot be a religious principle because it's simply against what is written in the Torah. It can certainly be a civil principle that can be supported and promoted, okay? Because we have two legs. We have the identity, Jewish identity and democratic state. So when we are speaking about LGBT's rights, it's not in the Zehut Yehudit, the Jewish identity, it's in the democratic leg. Judaism is anything but an environment of invention and innovation. Judaism is conservatism with small c. Judaism is continuity. Try to do what your parents did. As in matter of meaning and create meaning to the Judaism, Judaism is to do God's will, to do mitzvot, whether if you fulfill it or not. And after I wrote these sentences that emphasize the gap between the way we think about issues, I wrote what next? What in the future? So first of all, above all, we have to make a decision that we are one people and we will never give up on each other. We will never give up. 2, at this point in time, I feel I have more questions than answers. It's not so politician never says that, but I feel that my knowledge of American Jewry is too shallow. Therefore, any statement I make might be wrong or stupid. 3, that's why all I could do at the moment was point out gaps in worldview without being able to point out solutions at the moment. 4, despite being a religious Jew, observant to Torah and mitzvot, my door as a minister was always open to everyone. And don't take this as a minor matter. 5, in the last year and a half, with a lot of help from God, I became a significant political figure. I was privileged to carry a message that many Israelis were waiting to hear. Happily, diaspora Judaism also noticed this, and I pray to God to help me to continue on this path. Last one. I intend to deepen our acquaintance and dialogue, because like I said, the most important thing is that we don't give up on each other. We must stay one people. Must. After I finished writing this, I finally...
Okay, בוא נדבר על זה קצת. So, you see the irony here that you were the minister who took on the ultra-Orthodox to the point that you had to have security for yourself as someone who was Sayeret Matkal who never needed it and going on secret missions or whatever. And yet what you've outlined is a very closed-off, limited view of Judaism that is not going to sit well with everybody in the United States. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see exactly what you're saying, but I don't have a solution right now to the no, truly I don't, because for me being here was tremendous, and I learned a lot, and the most important thing that I learned that I don't know everything. and don't know anything, let's be precise. And if we want one day to find a way to create a bridge between us, first of all, we must know what each side thinks. And that was what I tried to do yesterday night when I couldn't get sleep. Okay, and I tried to figure out what the big gap between us.
Well, part of it, how much do you think Israelis think about American Jews?
Very little. No, this is the truth, because you are dealing a lot, here at least, with the Jewish identity, for example.
Yeah.
In Israel, most of the people don't think about the Jewish identity, because in Israel, everybody is Jewish, and the Jewish identity is clear to everyone because we are celebrating the Chagim, and we learn the Bible in the schools, and we are mentioning all the Chagim in the schools, and everything, and most of the restaurants are kosher, and we have synagogues everywhere, and a lot of people walk with the kippah, and so, because Israel is a Jewish Orthodox country. So we are not thinking about it a lot. And about the connection, the relationship between Jewish people in the Israel and in diaspora, not many people thinking about this issue, unfortunately.
I want to ask you a question. What do you think, if you're an American Jew, okay, and let's say that you're Reform, the one of the kind that you met 4 years ago, and you worry about some of the potential rollbacks of human rights under the incoming government. Maybe you're concerned about Palestinian human rights.
Human
as
rights,
well.
human rights in Palestinian is not an issue of Orthodox.
No, everything, bichlal.
Okay.
Okay, you have all these things. But you want to call yourself pro-Israel, but you want to be able to criticize some of the things that the new government does. Can you call yourself pro-Israel and still have a criticism of whether it's the internal policies of the government or vis-a-vis the Palestinians?
Yes, it must be like this, I believe. I heard a lecture in the beginning of the day, I don't remember her name, sorry, about being able to criticize Israel and love Israel in the same time. And it's okay. Now half of the population in Israel hate what the government is going to do. And before months ago, the other half hated what the government did. So it's okay to criticize the government and still love Israel. And yes. Okay.
So I think for a lot of people in the Bay Area, and I'm not, we're a diverse community here. Some of the things that you mentioned about LGBT community, about about what we're seeing as potentially could change in terms of, some of the things that you tried to get done.
Yeah.
Right? Those are important issues for the community here in terms of the rabbis and kashrut and things.
I think that, a lot of things are important, but the conversion was the most important thing that I tried to do, and I failed. And I tried to describe what I've been through during this process. Because if we will not understand this issue of conversion and who is Jew, we will make the rift, make it the gap wider, and it will be disaster. It will be disaster.
Okay, I want to talk about, let's leave Jewish identity for a moment, and let's talk about the incoming government. My mentor, David Horowitz, who's the editor of the Times of Israel, it was my first job back in 1995 when I worked for the Jerusalem Report. He called the moves that the incoming next prime minister, the old prime minister Netanyahu, was making incomprehensible, can't understand it, and potentially devastating. This is what he wrote. Day after day, he's talking about Bibi, as he negotiates the staffing and agenda for his incoming coalition, Benjamin Netanyahu is openly preparing to turn Israel from a remarkable democracy, kafi she'amarta, when you said in your speech, into something approaching untrammeled rule by a narrow, homogeneous, hardline majority. Now, David is not, he's not like a lefty or anything. He's just like a, he's centrist. What's your level of concern about the characters who are coming into the new government and the way that Netanyahu is putting this together?
So I'm concerned, as I said in my speech, because the characters that the leaders of the parties that will be part of the coalition are mostly extremists in every measure. Okay, even if it's right, they are extreme rights and they're extreme religious, and there are people that dictate the method of all or nothing. They can't compromise. And at least what they said all the campaign. But this is the resolution, this is the situation that we are facing, and we must give them a chance to see if what is going to happen, because now during the establishment of the government, I don't know, they're speaking a lot and they're fighting, but I don't know how it will end. And we'll have to give them the chance to start, and we'll see how it goes. Right now, it don't seem so good.
So one of the incoming ministers who's had a lot of attention here is Itamar Ben-Gvir.
Yeah.
You mentioned him in your speech. He's a religious person who was convicted in the past, if I'm not mistaken, of multiple charges of supporting terror. Mm-hmm. He was famous before Yitzhak Rabin's assassination as the person who grabbed the medallion off the Cadillac, right, pulled it off in the months preceding his assassination. And now he's going to be the Minister of Public Security.
Yeah.
So how should we think about that?
Well, this is what the citizens...
I know you don't have all the answers,
but this is what the citizens of Israel chose. And what can we say? This is the situation. He has 14 mandates. His party has 14 mandates. And
to be clear, it was 14. It was 14, correct me if I'm wrong. There were 3 religious parties.
He has 6, Smotrich has 7, and there is one person with 1 mandate. And 6 mandates in this situation is a lot. And he's going to be the minister that you said for
Public Security.
Public security, okay. And actually, we will have to see how he's going to act. For example, he used to go to the Temple Mount once a month, every Rosh Chodesh. And in the last Rosh Chodesh, he didn't. So maybe he learned that as a minister to be, it's too dangerous to go to the Temple Mount. So we'll have to see next Rosh Chodesh if he will try to go to the Temple Mount and what it will cause.
He used to also, I think, say death to Arabs, and now he says death to terrorists.
No,
right?
Yes.
To moderate himself.
That's what I said. He's saying that he's more moderate, and he's not calling for death for Arabs and not to expelling Arabs. And he said that we should kick out only those who oppose Israel and those who are terrorists, and death to terrorists.
So one of the, you talked about the greatest threat to the country to Israel being civil war now.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you about the conflict with the Palestinians, because even though in Israel, I get the feeling, correct, that a lot of people are post-Palestinian. Ein lanu partner.
Yeah.
We have no partner. This is what they say, right? Here, people look with great concern about the persistence of the conflict. Now, Mahmoud Abbas is 87 years old, I think, and you really might have no partner soon, right? So do you have any thoughts on the prospects for any kind of advancing, or no?
Well, no.
No.
No, but I want to take 1 minute to explain why I don't believe in the solution of states or 2 states. Okay, because I live in a moshav. It's like a kibbutz in the middle of Israel, near the town of Rehovot. It's in the middle of Israel. Before 1948, Arabs lived there, and some of our orange trees in the my moshav was planted by Arabs in 1935. These Arabs are not living in my moshav anymore. And like my moshav, you have Sheikh Muniz. Sheikh Muniz is Tel Aviv University. Tel Aviv University is the center of the leftists in Israel, okay? And it's on an Arab village that they escape, run away, you called it however you want. But that was in 48. And we, the Jews, were expelled from Israel 2,000 years ago, and we were praying, singing songs, and believed that we will one day will come back, and we came back. And it took us 2,000 years. So to think that after 75 years, the Arabs will forget their villages, and this is a story that they are telling to themselves. I'm not telling that it's a true story, okay? But this is their story. That's what they are telling to themselves. They believe that it belongs to them. To think that they will leave it out after only 75 years, I think that it's disrespect to the Arabs, because we dreamed 2,000 years, so they will leave it after only 75 years. So the solution of two countries that live in peace, one near to each other, one in 48 lines and one in 67 lines, I think that it's not relevant, okay? And as you said before, we don't have any partner.
No, I didn't say that. I said that's what they say.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that anytime we try to achieve a permanent solution, it caused a war and blood. So now what we want is to reduce tension, yes, by making more separation in several ways, and maybe after a generation or two, that the conflict will reduce. Maybe my grandsons will be able to do something else. But now there isn't any solution, so we have to work to reduce the conflict.
Okay, so I don't want to end on such a negative note, and I have 38 seconds, Matan.
Yeah.
So what can we say here as you set off now to vote for the new Yoshev Rosh HaKnesset, the new chairman of the Knesset?
Yeah.
What's going to be your message now about these wonderful people that you met here in Palo Alto and what you learned about how to make a better relationship between the diaspora Jewish community and Israelis?
Okay, I will tell you that we all must understand that we don't know each other good enough to say what we can do now. And the first thing that we have to do is to get to know one each other better. And I don't want to promise, because I learned not to promise anymore. But I will do anything I can to learn more about your way of thinking about these issues. And this thing I can promise, that we must be one people, and we should not ever give up on the contact, the connection between us.
Okay. Toda rabah.
Thank you.